Welcome back, friends. We are heading for a very interesting panel session where we'll be discussing about ourselves as a country and the growth story of GCC. And in this upcoming panel, we have two leaders, those who have influenced in that individual capacity a generation of professionals. To initiate this panel discussion, may I request the convener of this group and Central Council member, C.A. Sanjeev Sanghi, as the moderator to the dais. And let's welcome the first panelist to the session, C.A. Bibek Agrawala, Executive Director and CFO, Eveready Industries Limited. And we are also having our past president, C.A. Dr. Debashish Mitra, as the second panelist. He will be joining us in the meantime. When you talk about C.A. Bibek Agrawala, it is not about 2.5 decades of rich experience and wisdom, which has reflected through his risk management skills while he has navigated Eveready from 1 mile to 1,000 miles. With these few words, let's welcome C.A. Bibek Agrawala from Eveready, and I request our convener to welcome him. Thank you so much. With this, I leave the space and floor to the moderator, the fantastic, wonderful voice of the GCC front, C.A. Sanjeev Sanghi, our CM. All yours, sir.
Thank you, Sutar. Before we get into the heated discussion, because I always try and make the panel as exciting and interesting as possible, till the time our past president ICAI joins, just a good input if anybody has questions right now to start with, so that we can also take those questions into our panel. So can we have some mic over there? We'll take a note of these questions. We will be answering you during the panel.
Hello, Sanjeev Bhaiya. So I have a very basic question. Like what we experienced till now is that the capabilities and the possibilities for a chartered accountant in this coming time is much huge than the traditional work that we have been doing. Having said that, why is this group called Positioning India as an accounting GCC? Why are we restricting this group's vision as an accounting GCC, Positioning India as?
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, good morning. My question is, sir, that compared to India, there are lots of options in the South Asia Pacific which companies may be looking forward as an alternative. What do you think the challenges are for our country to get a larger share of the GCC as compared to those other economies?
Any more questions from anyone? Okay. So I'll definitely go back to Vivek ji and we'll ask. Yes, we have one more question. Yes, please. Can we have the microphone over there? And let me tell you the objective of the current session, where we are coming up as panelists, is to ensure that each one will be answered their question. There will be a value. I also welcome Rakesh ji, coming all the way from Delhi into this summit, and he has got real-time experiences on setting up and implementing GCCs across the country. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That was a nice opening talk, because I am hearing this thing closely for the first time. But after so many years of working, like recently somebody got in touch with me from the UK, and they wanted a comprehensive service. Though his unit is located in Dehradun, I don't know for what reason he wanted someone in Calcutta. So I really want to know ki when we talk in terms of a GCC, could you give me a little bit of a dimension of what it entails to have a GCC, in the sense you were talking about so many 1800 and 600 GCCs. What is the definition of a viable GCC?
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah. Yes, Joydeep. Now we're getting this opportunity because we're waiting for the past president to come in. As soon as he joins in, we'll start with the formal session. But we don't want it to waste the time because time is money.
So one quick question. See, for example, the business looks for analytics, analytical insights. And while GCCs primarily in major part of the country has been focusing on compliances, taxation, accounting, MIS, okay, they're getting into the finalization of accounts. But working with the marketing team to understand the business dynamics, to create marketing strategies, to looking at the more revenue focused, what to look for the next 3 quarters instead of looking at the back. So instead of looking at the post-mortem of the financials, how we can have more projected financial cash flows, projected balance sheets, and how we can contribute to the business.
So Joydeep, what is your question?
So how this GCC will be helping in looking into these analytical and projected things.
That's the whole objective. That's the whole intent. All right. So Vivekji, you want to take up any questions, or should I just give my first input and then maybe you can add up wherever you want? Okay. So why India is accounting GCC? भाई इंडिया में बैठे हो तो इंडिया की ही सोचेंगे. Why accounting? This is just a word. This is a word which has been created. It's not that we are only looking for accounting. It has been created by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India as a thought process of scaling up and taking it to the next level. But yes, there were few were asking questions about, are we into compliances and all of this? Yes, that's the basic foundation. We cannot ignore that. The foundation of getting your books correct, getting your line items in order. If your data is not structured, number one, if your data doesn't get connected, number two, if your data cannot be accessible anytime from anywhere, that's the basic foundation. And that's an important role to play. The problem is we are struggling to get this data in a structured format, or we are not able to make that structured, or somehow, some way, that data is only used for a very, very focused objective of filing compliances. And we are only limiting ourselves to those data which are relevant for that, and not those data which is helping in creating more value to the organization, because those data may not be also be available with the organization. So that data, first of all, we need to create that systems to get those data available with the organization, try to pull up those data, and then move forward from that. I'll give you an example. What if I say, if you talk of a client, if you talk of any client, that what they had been doing for last 10 years, well, we know their numbers, their sales, but what about non-numbers? How much of that is the production unit? What are the major reasons behind their slow production? How much of inventory is there? So there are many, we can go more and more into a detail of that. But getting a broader perspective of it is, get the accounting data structured, get that available, accessible, and try to get that into information and try to automate that. Which means, if you create a system, we are working on a very important project called Triple Entry System of Accounting. Now, we all know single entry, we all know double entry. What is this triple entry all about? So if we are not moving up the value chain, if any one of you start working on that direction of triple entry system of accounting, Let me tell you, in next 3 years, in next 5 years, double entry will be considered like single entry. The way we look at single entry today, well, who is doing single entry today? It will be considered in next 5 years, who is doing double entry. So that's how we have to move forwards into blockchain, into RPA, into making sure that all your data are connected, all your data can be automated, and those can be easily be understood and accessible. So that's how the entire capability of why India and why India is having the largest share today. Yes, 51%, maybe 53% of GCC is in India currently. If we talk about 3,000 GCC or 3,500 GCCs across the world, you talk about South Asia and others, we have the better advantage of English speaking, knowledge, domain expert, the concept of accounting, again I say, the objective understanding the business, what we understand here. I think I've been working, and I think Sarika is with me and agree with me, that we had worked with accountants across the world. The objective and the knowledge of debit and credit, the way we understand, the way we do, I don't think so, with all due respect, any other accountants across the world is having that grip over the accounting understanding of the financial statement. So if you want to add anything on this?
So, no, thank you, Sangviji. I think there are nothing is right and wrong as we speak. Just to add what Sangviji has added. Today, I think GCC, why CA and GCC, right? Because this is the fraternity. I think I'm not going to define why an accountant, even the US is called CPA. They are also public accountant, and it's like we may say that accounting could be given as a great product to us. But today, if we see the kind of environment where the chartered accountants are grooming up, from the day one, you have been sent to a manufacturing unit for auditing, for example. Today, the kind of visibility chartered accountant is having, because, for example, if you say person course was doctor, he's only studying how to do the surgery and operation. They don't get an opportunity to understand general management. They don't get an understand to learn the marketing and sales. But if you understand that our profession, how it matters with the GCC, because it should not be considered as a delivery center. GCC should be considered as a innovation and the decision hub. Today, the definition of GCC by way is completely changing, because the way chartered accountants are poised from the day one of their articleship, they know how manufacturing process works. They know how sales marketing works. They know what is the value of compliances. They are not limited to only the bridge between board and auditors. Today, so that is why probably how India and chartered accountants are poised to set up in the global platform for the GCC, because this fraternity has a very well described mindset that yes, I am not a functional manager, I am a business manager. We know how to take business forward, because today the chartered accountants are not being considered only as a rigid controllers, they have been considered as a trusted advisor. And that is why this movement, I think the GCC and the chartered accountant fraternity is very well poised to take India ahead.
Well, and there was one more question on a viable GCC. Who was asking that question? वो एक शायरी में बोल नहीं पा रहा हूँ कि जो क्लाइंट को चाहिए, तुमको जो पसंद वही बात करेंगे. So a viable GCC, I think, is all depend upon, we don't have a choice. The definition and the broader difference between outsourcing and GCC is, in outsourcing, today we have a nice little lunch. I'm giving it a very simple language, Sardaji. So we have ordered a caterer, we have finalized a caterer, and we said, boss, ये menu चाहिए, ये मिठाई चाहिए, ये dessert चाहिए, ये हमें दाल चाहिए, ये चाहिए. He's bringing the food over here, and we are all going to have a wonderful lunch today. That is similar to outsourcing, because we don't know कि उसने किस तरह का चावल लिया है, उसमें क्या मसाला डाला है, उसने क्या क्या किया उसके साथ प्रोसेस. वी आर ओनली गोइंग टू टेस्ट इट एंड देन वी विल से वाओ दिस इज गुड और नहीं यार मजा नहीं आया. इन जीसीसी यू डोंट हैव अ चॉइस. You will be given a strict policies, a system which you have to abide to. The entire, each and every person which is appointed, each and everything which is happening is all monitored and controlled. आपके हाथ में कुछ नहीं है. So anyone who can give me 5-10 names of GCCs, I can be very clear that you know what GCC I am talking about. Give me 10 names, anyone. Any GCC, we have 1800 GCC or more. Give me 10 names. So big fours are GCC, right? Okay. Accenture is a GCC, yes. But talk about any non-accounting GCCs. HSBC, yes. Why I'm talking about all these names? So that you get a clarity. Now, these are big GCCs. Smaller micro GCCs are people who had been taken up by an accounting firm. So, where there is an opportunity? The opportunity is that the entire world today is aging so far as accountants are concerned. I'm only going to be very, very relevant on the subject which we are trying to understand. There is a company in Hyderabad which is called Verizon. Anybody has heard about Verizon? What is the company all about? What is Verizon doing? Telephone. It's like Airtel and Vodafone in India. They have their GCC in Hyderabad. Now what are they doing over there? More than 4,000 to 5,000 people sitting over there is working on the account receivable management system. So what is happening? Verizon sitting in US thinking, boss, मेरे को एक process, मेरे को एक system करवाना है. अब मुझे 4,000-5,000 लोग लगेंगे. चलो यार इंडिया में एक सेटअप खोल देते हैं. तो उन्होंने वहाँ बिल्डिंग खोली, आपसे कंसल्टिंग करवाई, आपसे जमीन लिया, आपने उनका पूरा सेटअप किया, टैलेंट बनाया, एसओपी बनाया, टैक्सेशन पॉलिसीज बनाया, फंडिंग बनाया, सारा काम आप एज अ कंसल्टेंट उनका कर रहे हो. अब वहाँ फीस 2, 5, 10 लाख रुपए में नहीं होती है. राकेश जी आप बता दीजिएगा अपने सेशन में. वहाँ फीस करोड़ों रुपए में होती है और वो सेटअप होता है और उसमें आपकी एसओपी भी रहती है, इक्विटी भी रहती है, रोल भी रहता है, कंट्रोल भी रहता है. बट पूरी ब्रांडिंग, पूरा थॉट प्रोसेस, पूरा कंट्रोल उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का होता है. सो अकाउंटिंग फर्म कमिंग बैक टू, nobody across the world are getting into accounting. There is a dearth. अगर आप अभी मोबाइल में टाइप करो, there is a huge decline of accountants in America, in UK, in Australia, in Canada. No new person are getting into accounting industry. And all the accounting firms of those organizations are looking, those who are big organization over there, to set up a GCC in India. Where if you get that connect, if you travel, if you are ready, if you are scalable, you can say, boss, we can work together, because he is not happy, he or she is not happy with outsourcing because control is not in their hands. हम उनका काम करेंगे और बोलेंगे सर अब तो 10 साल हो गए, अब तो आपको डबल करना पड़ेगा, तो हम गए. So they don't have that control, and that's why they prefer GCC than outsourcing. So this is a revised and the changed version. Vivek ji, aap batao.
No, completely aligned. So as you have already explained that outsourcing versus GCC, because most of us confuse outsourcing. So I think today, as the situation comes, every organization, it is not only a cost arbitrage. Once upon a time, this outsourcing and shared services, center of excellence has been looked into as a cost arbitrage. Today, definitely not. It is, along with that, is a value creation, value addition, succession building up, leadership building up. How do you build the transparency through the governance? Because when you put somebody giving a very stringent SOPs, policies, KPIs, SLAs, escalation metrics, and a third party is monitoring for you, chances of missing out is very less. But when your own people are doing in a few of the time, acha tu kar le yaar, dekh le, sometimes we take a practical calls. So that is the way we are looking into that. Uh, yeah. So now, today what is happening that if we really want to continue that momentum in a GCC, we have to really look for that a mindset change. Change management is the most critical in the GCC environment. Because the same thing is going to be happening, but in a different format, different taste, so that you can take your organization ahead of time.
So we welcome our past president of ICICA, Dr. Debashish Mitra. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. I request Sutar to please take the proceedings.
With a pause, let's welcome a member, not a past president, not a professional with 4 decades of rich experience, but a voice within the profession and from the profession to the globe. CA Dr. Debashish Mitra. Let's welcome, sir, with a token of gratitude and love from our council member, CA Sanjeev Sanghi ji.
Thank you so much for being with us, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So, coming straight to Dada, we all love to call him Dada. And we are talking about GCC and the growth story, sir, and there are multiple questions which are being exchanged. But I had one very important question for Dada always. When I was 15 years back, I was looking Dada to speak on company law, talking about auditing standards, then slowly getting into other areas. Then he started talking about artificial intelligence. And then slowly getting into GCC. There's a single word for this, adaptability with the newer things. Think about me talking on GST. Think about Vivekji, you talking on things. So Dada, how much is adaptability important in this GCC growth journey?
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. Agarwalji, warm welcome to you on behalf of the Institute. I still, you see, although I'm not in the council, but I always like people like you sharing your thoughts. Now, he's saying adaptability. Why are you here today? All of us are here because we see that there is some kind of an opportunity in GCC. You have come, most of you are in your 40s or 50s, right? Most of you who are sitting here are in your 40s and 50s. Now, in your 40s and 50s, what kind of opportunity do you expect? Now, you see what he's saying. When Sanjeev, and let me mention his name, when Sanjeev started off, I would like to call his district as a GCC, it was because of cost arbitrage. Simply because he was providing services at a cost which was lower than the cost that was there in the US. That's why they gave all the work to Sanjeev, right? And along with Sanjeev, you had so many others. The Big Four also had this kind of thing. So this kind of GCC. So you had that because it was totally because of cost arbitrage. How many of you went into that? I did not go into that. Sanjeev, we knew that Sanjeev was there, but I did not go into that. Simply because I did not have the US contacts. I did not have the US contacts. Even today, if Sanjeev starts, it will be very difficult for him to establish the contacts which he has developed over a period of time. Right? So you see, that is the whole problem. Now, if you are in Gujarat, there will be some Mr. Patel in the US who will tell you that, Mr. Patel here in Gujarat, in Ahmedabad, can we do something together? But here, if you are here, you will not find a Mr. Patel trying to tell you, can we do something together, you see, with US? Because Mr. Patel is looking for a Gujarati gentleman. He is feeling more comfortable being there. So when Sanjeev started off, he had these connections and God has blessed him. But today, if you want to, and the biggest hub, if you want to do this, that you see the kind of work that he does, the biggest market is US. But now that market is changing, and what has happened is the adaptability. Now they are saying that cost arbitrage business choro boss. Nahi chahiye.
1,800 GCCs are there. Sanjeev, you'll have to correct me if I get the numbers wrong, right? About 1,800 GCCs are there, employing about 10 million people today. And what are they talking now? They are saying that how good are you in AI? How good are you in cybersecurity? They have moved from cost arbitrage to innovation and research. So those of us who are sitting here and thinking that, look, we are here for the cost arbitrage, and that, see, if Sanjeev has been successful, I will also be successful, I will say, difficult, boss. You simply will have to adapt and change your mindset. Simply will have to adapt and change your mindset. So when the institute does a program on AI, AI 1 and AI 2 and whatever, you see, you have to attend that program and just see that what is happening on the AI front and how can I be effective. वो काम आपको मिलेगा नहीं जो संजीव को मिला. अभी संजीव अगर चालू करेगा तो उसको भी काम नहीं मिलेगा, because we have no contacts. I'm telling you this from my own experience. अग्रवाल जी या संजीव मुझसे सहमत नहीं भी हो सकते हैं, वो दूसरा बात है. But you see, as he has said that, you see, I like to speak my mind out on all these issues. That is how it is, right? So the profession has to be adaptable. The profession must know वो काम नहीं मिलेगा, cost arbitrage का काम नहीं मिलेगा. But if I am good in research, if I am good in cyber security, if I am good in AI, काम मिल जाएगा. काम मिल जाएगा. Because, you see, they are putting up, they hope to have about 3 lakh people in these GCCs, right? And GCCs are growing. And with Nirmala Sitharaman talking about this 2047, no tax, more data centers will come up, right? So we have to adapt ourselves to that opportunity. Mindset change करना पड़ेगा. Most of us, why we are here? We are here to see ये GCC चीज क्या है? ये है क्या चीज? ये संजीव हम लोग को बार बार बोलते रहता है. जब संजीव टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में बोलता था तो मैं भी सोचता संजीव तू कितना टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करेगा, right? At that time he was not an honorable council member, but Sanjeev was proved right. Later on, technology became the center stage of the profession. And when you asked a person like past President A.C. Chakrabarti, he said that the future of the profession is technology, technology, and technology. A.C. Chakrabarti, 91 years old, and he's saying that. And Sanjeev was talking about this for a long time, but we said that, boss, what future of the GST hai, income tax hai, audit hai, tum kya technology ke baare mein baat karta hai? But, and today, again, adaptability. We have changed. So, you see, that is the thing. There is great, you see, opportunity. But we simply will have to upgrade ourselves, adapt to the changes. तभी opportunity मिलेगा. Sanjeev, if you don't want to agree with me on some points, you may do so.
Definitely, काम सबके लिए बहुत बड़ा चुनौती है. But sir, we are working on that, and in this session, with the help of Dada and Vivek, we are definitely going to give you some clue on how we are going to get this around. But coming back to Vivek ji, and both of you, sir, how important is networking? Now, when I say networking, there are various aspects which I wanted to touch upon. Is how easy it is for us to meet people, to interact with them, engage with them, and how this is important when we talk about social networking, when we talk about networking with people across the world. How are we taking that, and how should we take that step forward, Vivek ji?
So, Dada, we are fully sahmat with you first. Okay, I also second. So I think today also we are here for what? I think networking, right? Academic knowledge we all have, right? But today world is so competitive. Unless until we make our life as a portfolio, like we could have sit in our own respective offices and could have taken a brief from Sangviji some time back. But this opportunity of networking does not mean that you get, it's like a seeding, it's like investing. It's not कि 5 GCC में attend किया तो अगले से छठा हमको काम मिलेगा. It is first to even understand what is GCC. As some gentlemen ask, what will be the value added cost? कौन से break even में quote करना चाहिए? Somebody asking, is an outsourcing? Absolutely not. It is completely a different ball game. It's business. That's why I say GCC is not delivery center. It is a decision and innovation hub. Today, we build succession planning here. Today, we build the leadership talent here, upskilling the same people doing the different job. It is not only about accounting, but why CAs are more poised? Because we are a strong bridge between finance, operation, technology. Because this institute has taught us from our article these days, har cheez mein ungli karo. Sorry to use that, but I'm saying that is the learning we got it. Because we are not a straightforward looking function on matlab debit credit. That to ERPs are taking away. And as a profession, this is a great opportunity. Maybe after 10 years today we'll realize, as Dada has said, उन्होंने पूछा सांगवी साहब को, सांगवी साहब पूछेंगे दूसरा किसी को, maybe मयूर को पूछेंगे कि मयूर तूने GCC अगर नहीं किया तो probably our task will be in a risk. Today who will ask the CFOs of the world, because 80-90% work is automatically taken care by the technology. Then what is left out? Government is becoming a fully transparent on a taxation, GST, everything is automated. Maybe next year onwards, we don't need to issue physical bills also. Already there, those are B2B customer not required. Then what the hell are we going to do? We are giving every portal access. That is the way, this practicing profession, I'm not saying. I'm on the other side of receiving side also. I'm not talking about practicing side. I'm saying I have seen the services of a center of excellence and the shared services. And one of the partner, Rakesh is here, Qantas Global, who runs the big GCCs. So there are merits. So as important thing, the change management, adaptability, agility. We have to quickly move around. There is nothing wrong. आज हम देखेंगे 2 साल बाद दूसरा कुछ होगा तो हमें अब से today if Apple has launched 17, they are already having 20 in their portfolio. So you have to design, develop and destroy your own thing. That is the way adaptability will keep coming. And I think that overall, that networking, what you are talking, it is the most important. The kind, and we are so blessed that institute is organizing for all of us. Happy to see more than 150 audience are sitting. Honestly, when I said maybe I thought 50, because first time I got an opportunity to come here. And now, because I was in Mumbai earlier, last 2 years I shifted, but whenever I get an opportunity to attend any institute or program, I don't miss it. Because I feel this is the networking opportunity which you're getting, something kuch to seek ke jayenge yahan se. Thank you.
Sanjeev, can I?
Yeah, please, sir, please.
I am very happy that Sanjeev, I'll give you 2 illustrations. Vivek ji ke saath mein main sehmat hu, ye bhi mere saath mein sehmat hai, so I am also in agreement with whatever he is saying. Aniket Talati was the vice president of the institute. He went on to become the president. And he also runs some kind of a GCC in Ahmedabad. So hum bola ki Aniket, you see, you have been with me. You have been my vice president. Get me some work here. He said, Dada, for that, you have to go to US and attend conferences. I said, that conferences, kyun attend karega? Past president, BJP. Well, sir, you have to invest. Conferences attend karka IAC on technology and all these things, then maybe you'll get some contact. वहाँ में जाके बैठना पड़ेगा. I said that इसमें तो खर्चा है. बोले सर इन्वेस्टमेंट करना पड़ेगा. नेटवर्किंग नहीं करोगे, यहाँ में बैठ के बातचीत करोगे तो नहीं होगा सर. हम बोलते हैं ये जो कॉन्फ्रेंसेस है अनिकेत, कितना दिन कितना कॉन्फ्रेंस अटेंड करना पड़ेगा. बोले सर still you strike gold. Still till you strike gold, वहाँ में जाके बैठा रहिए. वो लंच टाइम में सबके साथ में हाथ पिलाइए. थोड़ा ये भी बोलिए कि आई एम पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ ICAI, हालांकि उन लोग का ICAI से कोई मतलब नहीं है. हाँ, सो इसी ये करके आगे बढ़िए. So that is how it is, networking. That is, you see, these are truths. Actually, I've seen what is to be done. वहाँ में बैठा पड़ेगा. You have to invest. Number 1. Number 2, giving you one more example of networking. And see how things are done because of the vision of people. You just saw the World Economic Forum in Davos, right? So many of us saw it on TV, right? It was just held the other day. So this gentleman from Assam, he went there. He is a very high-ranked IAS officer. He went there to Davos. World Economic Forum. तो वो आ गया. तो मेरा साथ दोस्ती था. तो हम बोला कि कैसा लगा? क्या किया वहाँ में जाके? What did you do there? You must have got something for Assam. बोलता है कि यार छोड़ो. I liked Trump's lecture. I loved it here. क्या lecture दिया? I liked Macron's goggles. Macron, when he spoke, the French president, he had some eye problem, and you see, he was wearing goggles. So you see, he said, Macron, jo goggles ko dekh ke jo lagana, he said, he's the most handsome president, I think, Devashish. I liked when the president of Denmark gave Trump the bashing for Greenland. He said, I liked all this. I said, very good. So you had a good time. बोला हम लोग का बहुत जबरदस्त time लगा Davos में. 3-4 दिन पहले, I was talking to the incoming president, Prasanna Kumar. And Prasanna Kumar comes from the state from which Chandrababu Naidu comes. So Prasanna Kumar was telling me that he had a discussion with Chandrababu Naidu's son. And they were only talking about how many meetings that Chandrababu Naidu had in Davos to get investment for his state. Chandrababu Naidu was not interested in attending Trump's lecture. He was having networking, meeting after meeting to get investment for his state. So that is the two ways of looking at it, the networking.
Brilliant.
Right.
So let's settle ourselves together on this. Is how many of us, and please, the objective over here is not to come up and just discuss, give lectures. We are really introspecting ourselves together. How many of us have attended any conferences for the purpose of conferences outside India? 1, 2, 3. See, what is happening over here? What is happening over here? We have been tuned for last few decades, and Dada and Vivek ji will definitely add on to this. Tuned to say, mere ko kya fayda hoga? We have been tuned for empanelment. मेरे पास आप काम दे दो, कैसे करना है, बता दो. You tell me what I will get, you tell me how to do, you tell me what I will get, you tell me when you want this, Dada job hi kar lo. Because that's the only place where you are being told what to do, when to do, how much to do, what you are going to get out of it. If you are an entrepreneur, and I think we have forgotten that role somehow or some way. If you are being an entrepreneur, and that is what you have chosen when you have started thinking of going into a practice, it's about going with unprecedented. It's about meeting people. And let me tell you, Dada, just 1 year back, I was in London into this accountex with no profile as a council member, just as a normal chartered accountant, meeting people, and they had a conference with people coming from across the world. And every single person, we don't enjoy, they have this big, and Dada will speak a lot on this, they have this big billboard mentioning the name, the company name, the skills, and everybody is taking up the card, taking a scan of that, trying to add that into their visiting card. We feel, wow, is it important? We feel that somehow sharing the visiting card or talking about our organization or talking about what we can do and how we do is not a great thing. So I think that shift is important if you really want to go for it. We are going to go into the readiness part also. But Vivek ji, anything to add?
No, I will just talk about the visiting card. So here I was, you see, in London with Fan Kaur. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Singapore. And she's good, right? She's top class. You see, we were part of the same board of Chartered Accountants worldwide. So she's a good friend of mine, but those were early days, about 2 years back. So I said, Fan, this is my card, right? You see, with the right swagger. He says that, Debashish, nowadays nobody gives cards like this. Give us the QR code. You see, take that. Things have changed to such an extent. He taught me not to give the cards. Right? They will only talk. Even the person from Pakistan, he's doing that. But since he's talking about this, he's doing that. Things have totally changed. The way it is, the way they behave, the things have totally changed. Technology is driving us so much. Technology is driving us so much. If he's gone to Accountex, it's done very good. Because what has happened, next time I would advise all of you, try to make a visit to London when the Accountex is there. Spend some money. If you book beforehand, you will get good discount in Air India, right? You see, go there, be moving about. You'll find that opportunity that I was talking to you about. Excellent opportunity. Nothing might happen to you, but something might happen. If you're really serious about this, right?
So one next step, even the QR code is now dated. Now you secure both the phone of iPhone of both of you, your contacts are shared, right? So see the agility and speed going on. So I think this is a great momentum for us that we have to move up ourselves even, and really, that's a point that unlearn and relearn. I think what today we are seeing, that is a relearning thing. Sometimes we think we are the Mecca of our knowledge, we know everything, who is there to taught us. Even a 20-year AI engineer could give us something. Few days back, we have seen how the technology space, the share prices has changed when we certain of all came to know one company with a 2,100 staff has created something which will shake up the entire world in terms of the technology landscape. Overnight, our Indian share market just got technology share market got 8 to 15% corrected. Right and wrong, I don't know. But that is why it is as dynamic. So the volatility, as we said, we live in the VUCA world. Nothing is predictable. Every year, if you see from 2014-15, every year we have faced something which has shaken the business and actually created an opportunity for all of us. So, every change and challenges we should see as an opportunity rather than just, because jo ho gaya, wo to ho gaya, usko hum kuch kar nahi sakte. But how do we come out of it? That is more important.
Since Vivekji, I think you spoke about VUCA, right? VUCA, right? Yeah. You see, in the World Forum of Accountants this time, Piyush Goyal was speaking. And he went on speaking about VUCA. And he spoke for 5 minutes. I and Aniket, we are good friends. We are sitting together. हम बोला अनिकेत अभी ना मैं बोलूँगा कि VUCA का next step क्या है? Chartered accountant सब जानता है. You see, VUCA has now got to the next stage. Now they are calling BANI, B-A-N-I. अभी VUCA का कोई ना बोलता नहीं है. Right? You go to this thing, B-A-N-I. They have developed VUCA. The next step is B-A-N-I. So when I started speaking in my session about BANI, people they started looking at me, बोले ये क्या बात करता है बाबा? Right? So the point I'm trying to make is, we have to be always updated. If I can say things which others don't know, I'm always heard. If I go on saying that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, formed in 1949, greatest, largest accounting body in the world, this, that, all this, which I have also done, by the way, as the president, nobody listens to you, boss. Nobody listens to you, right? When I spoke about BANI and I moved from VUCA to BANI, everybody says, hey, Debashish, and they were all people from US and all this sitting. I could see that they were all Googling, trying to find out what is BANI. Right? So that's a change that you make. Always update yourself.
So Vivekji, since you are also a part of GCC and you have some experience related to this, what you think as an accountant, as a chartered accountant, the digital infrastructure and the, we talk about capabilities, we talk about networking, we talk about readiness. Digital readiness is something which I think Dada is also talking about. What are those important areas you think our members should work upon so that they can be digitally ready?
So I think today GCC and technology resonate together. There's no difference. Like today, I think our institute has already embedded a lot of processes beyond accounting, which mature a chartered accountant as a business professional. But however, to participate in this competing world and to lead the GCC, I think a lot of new avatar of chartered account has to come beyond accounting, like for example, investing themselves beyond understanding AI and understanding AI, how it can help business. Because today AI has become a jargon, right? Everybody thinks AI. From morning to evening, everything we are using AI today. But understanding how it is going to benefit. So the understanding of the AI, machine learning, I'm not going to state of generative AI and the metas of the world, but these are very basic. Communication is very important because we are fortunate that we are learning the English language. So that means communication is the very, because there's a difficulty. If you ask a French person to speak good English, it's very difficult for him. A German to speak a good English is very difficult for him. But our English, global understands very well. Third, very important is that since the chartered accountant's mindset has to be that bring out themselves from the functional domain and put themselves in a business domain. You know, that policies, SOPs, gate document, all are there. This is, we have been taught from decades. That has to be a part of our DNA. But a mindset, when you come a GCC, as I say, it is not merely a cost arbitrage. It is just a value creation window. That this could be business. This is not a cost center. There are people who are creating, because why then other side people have created GCC. Now GCC are being listed in the companies. There are few companies who are stock exchange listed organizations. That is why they feel that GCC will add value both sides, to them and as well as the client side. So I think today's chartered accountant mindset has to be very open. They need to think business first strategy, adapt themselves to all sort of technology, technology. But fundamental and accountings all remain. We understand our accounting. Today, I think, I don't know, people may be understanding debit or credit not, because there is nothing called debit and credit, but by default it is there in our DNA, right? That what is the impact of this in debit and credit. So that is why we don't need to teach people debit and credit, this will come automatically, but what we need to teach along with this is an upcoming technology, understanding business, understanding communication, because you may be a good student, but you may not be a good teacher, right? So you need to learn the art of how to express yourself in front of the client, how to take that you are the best and beating his own CEO, and then the client may feel, yes, ye hamari dukti nab ko pakda hai, and they can take us forward.
So, so let's have some interaction. And in this interaction, the objective is evolution, sir. So our thought process is evolution. How much have we evolved ourselves in last 2 decades? Those who have been in 2 decades, or those who are just into their 5 or 10 years of journey. From accounting to dashboards, how many of you have evolved? From accounting to real-time dashboard. I'm just giving an idea, okay? Is this really tough for those who are not lifting their hands? I'll tell you why. जब तक मुझे काम नहीं मिलेगा, जब तक मेरे पास वो रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं आएगा, जब तक क्लाइंट मेरे को बताएगा नहीं कि ये काम करना है, क्या फायदा? How many of you have evolved from regular taxation to international taxation and transfer pricing? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just giving you ideas of how you can evolve. How many of you are getting into ESG as on today? 1, 2. You can see the numbers, just feel. And these are the subjects. That's what Dada is talking about, and he's going to speak a length on this. I'm just trying to give the context on the evolution, sir. How many of you are actually getting into this advisory CFO services? 4, 5, 6. And we can go on and on. How many of you have actually gone into private equity mergers and acquisition, actually cracked the deal and worked on it? 1 single hand, 2, 3. So that is where the challenge is how will we get these work? Who is going to train us? How are we going to do this work? For those who have done this, we have seen 2, 4, 5 people have done this. Go and talk to them. How did you do this GST work? How did you do this GST litigation work? How did you started doing a practice when nobody was telling you how to do a practice? How did you got your first client when nobody has given you the first client? How all of these have stopped now? The same position, the same thought of going back into the room, becoming a magnet and trying to attract people across the world with your specialized knowledge, with your talent. You become a magnet and the whole world will look for you. Dada, your comments.
What he is saying is how much we evolve, right? Now, when we evolve, I see so many people sitting here. Don't bother about how many hands went up. That's not important. The things in this hall itself, or maybe the hall next door, I was speaking on artificial intelligence. on, you see something. This gentleman, he put up his hand, Vivekji. He says, what chartered accountants have got to do with artificial intelligence? I said, I was quite shocked. अरे इतना बोलता है कि ये तो इंजीनियर का काम है, सॉफ्टवेयर एक्सपर्ट का काम है, हम लोग क्यों उस पर घुस रहे हैं? मित्रा साहब, आप एक पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट हैं, हम लोग को गलत राह पे लेके जा रहे हैं आप. He was tough. I was speaking again on ESG. बोलता है मित्रा साहब, आप ना ESG, you know, it is environment, social and governance, right? बोलता है मित्रा साहब, आप ना S और G तक सीमित रखिए, E को छोड़ दीजिए. E के साथ में हम लोग का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. हम लोग को E पढ़ाया गया क्या परीक्षा में? बोलता आप क्यों E के ऊपर में बोलते हो मित्रा साहब? Why you are talking about E? Now you see the situation, and that's why Sanjeev has organized these programs, just to tell you that without E, we'll lose our relevance. Abhi environment is sab kuch hai. Abhi non-financial reporting is the future, not financial reporting. Yes, people, planet, profit. ये बोल रहा है, ये सब ये संजीव विष्णु ये लोग बोलते जाता है, right? You see, that is, for example, you have the BRSR in front of you. BRSR is a list of 140 questions that is laying stress only on non-financial reporting. आप कैसे E से भाग सकते हो? How much you can run? And if you run away from E, I am sorry to say, you don't have much of a future. Because then what is BRSR today? Only 1,000 top listed companies. And I know for certain that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs is trying to bring this whole E into other balance sheets also. कहाँ भागोगे? You'll become irrelevant. AI का बोलते हो कि ये सब इंजीनियर का दिमाग में घुसता नहीं है. अगर AI नहीं जानोगे, then what you are doing here, global capability centers? Because this GCC is all about AI, cyber security and these areas. वो दिन जो है जहां में आप इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न भरते थे और अपलोड करते थे, जहां में आप वो दिन अभी हैं whatever it is, वो दिन चला गया सर. Simply we got to evolve. Don't challenge things. And again, I always like to quote various past presidents. I don't know how many of you have seen this great man. He expired in 1990s, PM Narelwala. He has got the maximum influence in my thoughts. Two people, PM Narelwala and Y.H. Malagam. Right, so you see, they have got maximum. So once I asked PM Narelwala, no, sir, Vivek ji, abhi bhi bank audit nahi milta hai. What you are doing? हम तो regional council पे थे विष्णु का जैसा. Well, you are doing nothing for the profession. बैंक audit नहीं मिलता, extension of date होना चाहिए. Those were the 90s. PM नारियलवाला, हम एक बार बड़े परेशान होकर PM नारियलवाला साहब के पास चले गए. बोले सर, अभी ये सब मेंबर्स लोग मुझे, मैं तो रीजनल काउंसिल मेंबर हूँ, मुझे ये सब बोलता है. बोले देवाशीष, get this clear. And at that time I was not even in the central council. The institute is a facilitator. The institute is not here to provide you work. The institute is not a trade union, otherwise you change your definition. The institute is not a trade union which will go and try to get an extension for you. The institute, I think many of you would not like my comments, but that was PM Narelwala saying. And let me tell you, that has stood by me so much. And when I was the president, so it is now part of the folklore. Abhi jo CBT ka chairman at that time tha Mr. Nitin Gupta, now he's the NFRA chairman, right? He made me sit outside for 15 minutes, I and Aniket Talati. And I was livid. President ICAI, my statement, some of the statement, President ICAI waits for none. So I said, Aniket, chalte hain. इतना मैं समझ गया, उसका सेक्रेटरी बोला सर. तो कहा अंदर में गया. तो गुप्ता जी बोले, प्रेसिडेंट साहब बोलिए, जुलाई महीना था, एक्सटेंशन चाहिए क्या? एक्सटेंशन के उसने मुझे बैठा दिया बाहर में 15 मिनट. I said that, let me tell you, Mr. Gupta, Chairman sir, I think I am the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I am not the president of Institute of Extension of India. Once he heard that, hey, chai mango. And call the member technical. You have to. I did not say that. PM Nariyalwala was saying that through me. I did not say that. Aniket and everybody was stunned that, yes, sir, kya bol raha hai? And till today, Nitin Gupta is one of my closest friends. He has become NAFRA chairman. Because I told him that. Right? So, you see, the thing is this, what the institute, what Sanjeev is trying to do is getting you ready for the GCC framework. Getting you ready for the GCC. Those of us who are in a position to adapt a term that he has used, we will do very, very well. Sky is the limit. Those of us who feel it's too late for us, for example, sometimes I feel it's too late for me. I'm crossed 60 years. I'll tell you, right? So it's too late for me to think, go into newer areas and things like this, right? Don't worry. You have your own practice going. And the fact that you have come here to update yourself, that itself is a great achievement, let me tell you. That's why the profession is so unique, that we are always willing to update ourselves. That's why the profession is so unique. So when he is the GCC, is the first time he has done this, the committee in GCC, and wherever he had done, there have been sellouts. Sellouts. And there have been controversy. Like he was trying to get Sanjeev Sandhyal here. You know, he said, I was moderating a session in Delhi, Vivek ji. Oh, bola ki ye jo hai na, aapka small farms jo hai, sab nahi chalega. बोलता है big Indian farms करो नहीं तो कोई कुछ नहीं होने वाला. अब बोलता है why don't you go for PE? ये जो अभी संजीव बोला. Why don't you go for PE? And he is the most important voice for these large Indian farms. Ask Sanjeev. He was talking about this. I said that sir मुझे अगर PE करना बोल listing करो farm का. I said sir मुझे अगर listing करना है farm का, what about my audit and assurance? Audit and assurance भी क्या माने depending upon the quality of audit मेरा price का value ऊपर नीचे होगा क्या? बोलता है okay all right देवाशीष छोड़ दो audit and assurance. Non-audit services का तुम listed कर सकते हो. And he is now going in that area. He is talking in that area. Non-audit services का listing कर दो, बड़ा कर दो, बोलो audit छोड़ दो. So this is what is the change that is coming, and these are the changes that we'll have to all face, right? So that's how it is. Yes, Sanjeev, please.
So I would like to give one practical example of the E part of that. You know, I was in one of the experience, you know, I was dealing with a US client, and you know, they fight for 1% conversion charges, 1%. Suppose it's at $10, they will go for 10 cents and they do. But the moment I prove him that E is a great for me, that I have the entire sustainable power in my organization, I have no child labor implemented and all, they give me 10% extra on conversion charges. They give me 10% conversion charges. And they took a small video from us and created a QR code and embossed in their product. How globally they are feeling very happy that the country from which we are sourcing, they are ESG compliant. So how every part beyond accounting is helping to business to generate. So as Dada rightly said that our mindset has to be that how do we get a better business and prove our supremacy to the entire fraternity. That should be our mindset.
Yeah, so basically, we are going to come back to the open questions, but before that, just one more thought. And again, I'm only asking questions and I don't want anyone to answer, just introspect yourself within, that we are looking to have a GCC to where we are today. And how are we going to transform ourselves from a caterpillar to a butterfly to get into that journey that we become accessible, we become a quality, deliver center, and then slowly move forward the value chain to get into a GCC. This is a journey. Maybe it may take you a year, maybe 5 years, maybe 3 years. But are we into that roadmap? To start with, again a question, how many of us are having an SOP in our organization? How many of us are doing induction, organized process? Very, very basic thing I'm asking. Employee induction process. How many of us are sending our team to a particular client with a ready manual to say, this is what you need to do, these are the things, these are the checklists, these are the references, and this is what you need to do. So the question which comes is, if we don't get into standardization, how are we going to get efficient? If we are not cleaning our internal house, how are we going to aspire to get to that level? So in this panel discussion, what we are trying to emphasize upon is how you can brand yourself, how you can adapt with the change, how you can do networking, and how you can scale and skill your knowledge. Rakesh Sinha, sitting over there, extreme left, I've seen him in all the GCC. The 7 summits which we have conducted, and he's going to talk in his session. You know, what he's getting as a benefit, we talked about networking. And sir has raised a very, very important point. And I just remembered that when I went to US, and I was in front of a CPA who had been into practice of US laws for 3 decades, and I never went back to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India to say, you never taught me US tax law. You never taught me QuickBooks Online. You never taught me how to structure all these. So I think when an article comes to me and says, sir, I need a firm which has got GST experience and audit experience, I said, come and sit with me. Subjects are not going to be important going forward, let me tell you. Whatever the subjects are, the thought process, the mindset of being adaptable to any situation and creating a value out of it, a very general term, is going to be relevant for future when we talk about VUCA, because we don't know how volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous situation is. So we cannot say that this is one subject which is going to be the best subject, or this is one area where we can be specialized upon. We have to make sure that we think like a business, like Vivekji has said, we think like an entrepreneur, we think like a startup, and we should stop thinking that, okay, I'm getting 1 crore receipt, so I'm going to put in 40 lakh rupees and take back 60 lakhs. The day has come where you get 1 crore receipt, you put back that 1 crore back into your business for 2 years. And where is that money going to go? Into your infrastructure, into your networking, into your branding, into your skill development for you and your team, and taking the whole organization up level. That's the whole mantra. So, Dada, if you want to add anything, otherwise we can get with the open questions.
Right. Since he has instigated me by saying the full form of VUCA, let me tell you the full form of Bani, right? It is brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. That is the next. And this has been developed by a philosopher who says that VUCA has lost relevance, and this is what you should think about. Right? So you see, Bani. Now, as he's saying, right, the whole idea is, so many of you are smiling, seeing things and this thing. That is what the institute is, carrying people together. You see, ensuring that what is going to happen after this session, and I have told him to have a Q&A with all of you, even if you want to be a critical, no problem, right? After you get out, once somebody talks to you about GCC, you'll be in a position to speak to him for 10 minutes. The great Rahul Roy, the youngest president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, used to tell me, give me any topic under the sun, I will speak for 15 minutes. At that time, we did not have CPE so much. But Rahul Roy will say, give me any topic, and he also has inspired me so much that, you see, give me any topic under the sun, I'll speak for 15 minutes. Right? So, now, what is the takeaway from this? Maybe many of you will not be part of GCCs, not put up a GCC, whatever. But the takeaway is you are aware. Next time when you are meeting a friend and who says that, look, I am now setting up a GCC and I'm talking like this, you know that what is GCC. And you can talk back. And that talking back might help you in getting work. नहीं तो कुछ जानता नहीं है, चुपचाप बैठा रहेगा तो क्या होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा. So this presence here today, I think is going to be very, very useful for all of you. That's how it is.
Vivek ji, your closing remarks.
So as we are in the closing verse, I have to leave two thought process in the GCC. First, don't worry about coding in technology. Think about prompting. Because what is going to be the most critical in your mindset? Today also when you tell to Siri, Alexa or other people, if you do a right prompting, you get the answer. And second important thing, neither we need to work as a promoter or nor as a professional, work as a founder's mentality. In this GCC, if you really want to build up maybe a mid-sized firm, small firm, big firm, but you know, the moment you think like I am a founder for that GCC project in my organizations, and I have to build that organization for GCC for future, you probably will get an edge towards that. I think these two things I thought would be very closer that you know, if you work, could be something.
So we'll take a couple of questions if you have, and then we'll end up with the session. This is important. So anyone who has any questions related to whatever we have spoken or anything beyond that.
Anything that comes to your mind, don't worry, we are amongst friends. Anything that comes to your mind. Say that we did not like this, yes, sir, please.
So, sir, right now in the budget, I've heard you, sir. And that's a favorite dialogue of our Dada. So, right now, if you have heard the budget, there is a very important word which came in, which is called Corporate Mitra. And Institute of Chartered Accountants are forming a directorate specific on Corporate Mitra, where we are going to come up with, as I said you in the inaugural session, if you go into the GCC website, which Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has developed, that has got 200 articles, only and only focusing on GCC, how to set it up, what are the different services, what is the growth story of India, how many GCCs are there, listings are there, what are the available opportunities over there, all those things you can find with the podcast, with the videos, with the recording. If you see over here, this entire recording is also over there. You can see the recording of all the 7 summits into that single website, gcc.icai.org. So you'll find all the materials. In fact, all the materials which has been happening, all the articles, all the publications, all the insights, videos, podcasts, everything is hosted into that website.
अग्रवाल जी, मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ, ठीक है? आई एम स्पीकिंग इन हिंदी विथ योर परमिशन, राइट? अग्रवाल जी, आप ये सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स का ऊपर में बहुत जोर दे रहे हैं कि सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स होने से क्या होगा, सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स में करने से? सर, आपको एक इंस्टीट्यूट एक सर्टिफिकेट देगा, आपका कोई परीक्षा भी लेगा, तो उसके बाद में आपका क्या होगा, ये बताइए आप.
सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स इज जस्ट टू से व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, अगर कोई एक शॉर्ट कोर्स होता है, लाइक फॉरेंसिक ऑडिट के लिए अपने कोर्स कर,
FAFD, हाँ,
अपने इंटरनल ऑडिट के ऊपर कोर्स कर रहे हैं. सी आई पास्ड आउट 25 years ago. ओके, जब ये शॉर्ट कोर्सेज होते हैं, यू डोंट गिव मी अ सर्टिफिकेट, आई डोंट नीड अ सर्टिफिकेट.
एग्जैक्टली.
बट व्हेन इट one-to-one interactions with a small group, it have a much larger impact. You are right, there are 100 materials available online, maybe on institute website also it's available. But when we create that atmosphere and that discussion, then you know that code books are created, and you know what I am saying, you don't give a certificate.
So Vivek ji, ऐसा है, हाँ, please. So ऐसा है, this is not a subject. Forensic audit is a subject, transfer pricing is a subject. This is a concept. This is a center. If we say, tell me about KPO, every single client has different objectives. So this is a thought of creating a capability center, which is being, you know, administered, monitored by entities outside India. That is the concept. Yes, sir.
Agree with you. This is a concept and capabilities has to be created. But any capability would require certain amount of skill set also.
Right.
And how that skill set will come? Say if I am dealing with a US client, I should have a minimum knowledge of what a US tax.
So let me answer you the question, sir.
Let me complete. What a US taxation law is. Basic minimum knowledge. what kind of softwares they are using by and large. See,
Sir, I understood your question, sir. If you want to get into the taxation domain of US taxation, you have separate courses on US taxation. You want to get into ESG, there are separate courses on that. You want to get into data analytics, there is a separate course on that. You wanted to get into all the different things, whichever what you want to do. There are courses available. Now, GCC is not defined into these 3-4 subjects. It is defined into 3,000, 30,000 subjects. Depends on what exactly you want to do. You can get into LPO also. You can get into strategist role also. You can get into private equity funding also. All of these, now if you want to get into private equity, there's a crash course on that. There's a course on derivatives. There's a course on financial markets. But then all these things are available. So once you decide that this is where I want to brand myself, this is where I want to specialize, then the journey starts. If you want a complete perspective of everything, the only thought process is how you can network and identify and get things what you actually want to do. And then decide. Let's say you want to build a capability only related to AI. Do this AI course, do this AI level 2 course, and get started from there. You want to get into international taxation and transfer pricing, there's a separate course for that. That has nothing to do with AI. So again, there are GCCs for that as well. I hope I've answered the question. Any more questions? So since there are no more questions, yes, sir.
Just one point. You see, having with the institute as a past president of this, I hope Agarwal has answered your questions or whatever. Now, the institute must look at the broader. Sorry. I first of all congratulate Sanjeev and his group. They are doing fantastic work, let me tell you. But I have always believed that does the government recognize the work that we do? हम लोग क्या काम कर रहे हैं? आप लोग को educate कर रहे हैं, आप लोग को update कर रहे हैं. बस यही हो गया. Now you will clap and all these things. That is the end of the matter. The bigger picture is to what extent the government recognizes the work that you do on GSCC. And I have already requested Sanjeev that every state government requires a GCC policy. I have already told him that you develop a model GCC policy, and yeah, he's already done it, and circulate that with the various state governments. The state governments will call us. Just Sanjeev ji, आप ये model जिस थोड़ा हम लोग को समझाइए ये क्या चीज़ है? For example, he has already met the IT Minister of West Bengal. Right? If you give him a GCC policy, he will call us and say that, can you make a presentation about what do you want? And that is where the institute gets a center stage. Institute's work should not end with updating all of you. Institute should continue to have a system where we are recognized by the government for the efforts that we give. Thank you. Sorry, sir.
Sir, to quickly update you, in the inaugural I have spoken that we have already tied up with 15 ministries across the country. IFCA, SCPC, and we all are working together. We have already worked with Bhubaneswar, Odisha. We are working on this GCC. And the idea is all the state ministers now, that's the reason why we created this voice. All these state ministers are now approaching us that we want you all to be involved in dividing and drafting this policy so that they can implement into their state, so that they can have GCC in their state, so that they can create employment and they can get more economy grown over there. So the work is already on. And one last thing, sir. Next year, starting this time, we are going to take delegation to GCC, sir.
Very good.
We are going to take delegation to GCC where they are going to practically witness the infrastructure, the security policies, the compliances, SOX compliances, ISO compliances, how they are maintaining the security, what areas of work they are doing, how they are maintaining this checklist, the processes, how they are training their team, their campuses. So that delegation will go to individual GCC, and we are already in talk with all the GCC, so that the CFO of that GCC is going to arrange this visit with our delegation over there, sir.
Very good, excellent. I like it.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. It's always a goosebump effect whenever you listen to Dada. And as every story need to have a perfect blend of light, camera, and action. When you talk about the GCC growth story, it needs to have a good amount of talent, bucket full of skills, and wholesome of ecosystem. With this note, we are very thankful to all of you gentlemen for your insights to this India and its GCC growth story. And every story has an interval, and we also have a lunch break. So please reassemble here at 2 o'clock sharp so that we can understand the GCC and its nuances much better in 3 to 4 different sessions. Thank you so much.